Hello, welcome to this tutorial on how to find primary sources in MGCCC's eLibrary catalog. I'm Shagana Williams, one of the campus librarians at MGCCC Perkiston campus. Before I show you how to find primary sources in the library's catalog, let's first discuss what are primary sources. So what are primary sources? Primary sources are raw materials of history. Many primary sources were created at the time of the event. They are records of events as they are first described by witnesses or people involved in that event or in those events. I came across this great definition of primary sources, and it states that primary sources enables the researcher to get as close as possible to what happened in the past. So, for example, unfortunately, we cannot hop in a time machine and go to Philadelphia in 1787 to witness the signing of the United States Constitution. However, you can visit the National Archives in Washington, D.C. to view the original U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence. And if you can't travel to D.C., you can look at those primary sources online at the archives.gov website. Here are some examples of primary sources. They are diaries, letters, photographs, artwork, speeches, newspapers published at that time, oral interviews, scrapbooks, autobiographies, and artifacts. So let's talk briefly about secondary sources. Secondary sources summarizes or analyzes primary sources. Secondary sources are secondhand accounts of events created by someone who did not witness the event. So let's go back to the United States Constitution as an example. Again, it is a primary source. However, as you see on this slide, there's a book cover titled Plain Honest Men, The Making of the American Constitution by Richard Beeman. So Richard Beeman used primary sources such as the U.S. Constitution and others to analyze, give account of the founding fathers who authored the Constitution. Of course, the author, Beeman, was unable to go back to 1787 and speak directly with James Madison, Benjamin Franklin, and others, so he had to depend on primary sources to write this book. There are primary sources that have been converted or transformed into different formats, but they are still primary sources. So they could be found in published or unpublished books. They could be transcribed or in digital format. Again, I'm going to use the United States Constitution as an example. The National Archives has converted or digitized the Constitution and has placed it online for online research to use it. Remember, it is still a primary source even though it is online. So let's look at some other examples of primary sources that have been transformed. So on this slide, you'll see the first title, Civil Rights in Mississippi Digital Collection. That is located at the University of Southern Mississippi. So if you're interested in finding primary sources related to civil rights activities on voting rights in Mississippi, you can go to this website and view photographs, diaries, letters, newsletters, oral interviews related to this particular point in history. So as you can see on the far right here, there's a photograph of young children reading in the Freedom Library in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and this photograph was taken in 1964. That is still a primary source, even though it has been digitized and placed online. Another example is the George Washington writings, which is a hardbound book published by the Library of America. And in it, it is really different volumes of books, but it is this collection contains over 400 letters, speeches, addresses, journals, all written by George Washington. So even though it's published in a book format, the sources within it is still considered primary, even though it is published in a hardbound book. So if you need extra help on how to analyze or summarize a primary source that you have found, the National Archives has primary sources worksheets that you can use. So here's the link here that you can look at. Let me go back. And it has all these, the website has all these worksheets that you can look at. So if you need help on how to describe or analyze or summarize your primary source, these worksheets can help. All of these websites are where I visited to create this PowerPoint presentation, but you are more than welcome to view these sites to get more information on this topic. I wanted to credit all the photographs that I use in this PowerPoint presentation. And so that is the end. There is a part 2, and the part 2 video will show you hands-on how to search in the catalog to find primary sources. If you have any questions, talk to your instructor or see your campus librarian. Thank you.